those things are still present today. So that's what they're saying. That's what they're talking about, right? So there's still issues in the bank from some of those investments that the banks made that are not good, right? So they're losing revenue, losing profit on those situations, and that hasn't been rectified, even though that's what's being reported, as there are no more concerns in the banking sector. This article in Moody's sees things differently. So definitely something for us to watch and pay attention to. Yeah. PNC Bank. It's interesting. So there this article goes in the chat. Check it out. And we'll continue to keep our eyes on that situation to see how things continue to move as we move forward. All right. So that is that. Then so back to trade economics. Not a ton really happened. Treasury yields are steady ahead of CPI report that's coming out tomorrow. So we'll just watch out for that and see what transpires from there. Okay. Yeah. So that's pretty much it from a fundamental perspective. Are there any questions, or did you guys see anything overnight that caught your eye? No? All right. Cool deal. So let's hop over to the charts. Want to take a look at some of these pound crosses. I'll take a look at the dollar first, and then we'll rock from there. So dollar is just range bound, right? Dollar is range bound. Okay. Pushed up yesterday, came back to this high. Let's come back to the daily. Came back to the high, right? Just below that daily resistance level. So we'll drop this level here. Came back to that level and then started moving back down, right? So we'll continue to watch to see how things transpire. The expectation is that the Fed is going to hold rates at their next meeting. And so in theory, they're anticipating that CPI will come in a little bit cooler, right? So we'll watch that and see how that impacts the markets tomorrow. So we could see a slower day today leading up to that CPI report. All right. So just be aware of that. Okay. So that's the DXY. That's where we are. Overall range bound, support level there, resistance level. Can you guys see my screen okay? Okay, cool. So that's where we are, right? So we'll continue to watch the dollar and see how it moves, see how it slides. All right. So that's it there. Benny, good morning, bro.
Good morning, Ryan. Good morning, everybody. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, man. How about yourself?
Doing pretty good, thanks.
Awesome. Anything that you saw fundamentally this morning in the musings?
No, it's pretty much just what you said. Waiting for tomorrow
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the CPI data. That's just about it. That's what everybody else is waiting on.
Yes, sir. All right, cool deal. All right, sweet. So let's keep rocking this. Let's take a look at some of these pounds. Pound Aussie is still range bound, right? We got our 80-20 scenario here. We pushed into this 118, 127 zone. We have a weekly D extension here, right? Let's go back to the weekly actually. Take that off. Playing around with some ideas there, but got a weekly D extension here, right? 195, 983. So I want to see what happens when price gets there. Okay, we're stalling a bit right now, just broke. This was a weekly resistance level here, right? And we're sitting above it still. We want to see if we're able to tap that weekly resistance level and then see if we get a retracement of some sort, right? So still in this 80-20 zone on the daily time frame, see if we get another push to the upside to get to that 195, 983 level, and then see if we get a retracement, right? What I was looking at here is if we do get a retracement back into the sweet spot on the daily time frame, that'll set us up for a potential crown pattern. If that occurs, right? This is all just hypothetical thinking, but it'd be something like that. Take out that previous high, get to that resistance level, boom, right? All hypothetical thinking, but that's a potential thought, right? So we'll see what happens at that weekly extension level, be in that 118, 127 zone on the daily time frame off of the shallow retracement. So I'm still watching that to see what happens and see if we do get that retracement. Coming down to the 4, we hit our D extension on the 4, right? We also have another shallow retracement here on the 4. That 118, 127 zone on the 4-hour time frame is just above that weekly resistance level, right? So could we get there and then push into the 118, 127 zone on the 4-hour, give us some additional confirmation that we could be in for a reversal from there, right? So 2 levels that I'm watching, and overall, this is the zone here that I have my eyes on, right? So I'm waiting patiently to see if we get a push to the upside and see if we get then confirmation of a swing high to form in the zone, right? And price start making its way back down to the downside, set up a new AV boundary potential on the weekly time frame and that daily resistance. Okay, so that's on the 4, coming down to our 1. Here we are, right? And the D extension on the 1-hour, we got a 50% retracement. Matching D extension is here at 196,948, which is also coincidentally right in that zone of that 118, 127 zone on the 4-hour time frame. So do we see price push into this zone and then stall? Okay, so that's what I'm looking for here on the pound Aussie. Waiting patiently to see what happens. We got pound GDP data coming in on Friday. And that's pretty much it for the pound. So, and not much on the Aussie either. So let's see what happens, right? So that's what I'm looking for. There's another push to the upside here, right? So I'm just sitting waiting patiently for price to get into my zone, and then we'll make some decisions from there. Questions on the pound Aussie? Nope.
Nope.
All right. So that's it there. The pound CAD slowly making its way. All right. So on the weekly time frame, let's go here real quick. Weekly time frame, ran the fib off the low, shallow retracement. We're trying to push to the upside. We got a weekly resistance level here, which is also a daily level on the lower time frame. But we'll drop the level there, right? Weekly resistance. Let's see if we're able to push back to the upside here. And we'll see what happens once we get here. But do we get there and then are we able to break through and get into the 118, 127 zone on the weekly time frame? We'll see. Tons has to happen for that to occur, but we'll see what transpires there. But that's the weekly look. Coming down to the daily, we got a 382 push, right? The matching extension on the daily is here. Okay. Matching extension is there at 176,859. So got some work to do to break these levels, but are we able to make our way to the upside to get there? We'll see, right? We may not, depending on what happens with the pound as we get to these monthly levels, but we'll keep our eyes on it and see how things transpire. Okay. Bring this down. Okay, so that's the daily look. Looking for price to still push to the upside further. Coming here to the 4. Okay, 4 hour, we got a 618 retracement level. Price took its time making its way out of the zone. We finally broke this resistance level, pulling back now, but we're making our way to the upside. Right, so got a ways to go still, but looking for price to continue to move long, and we'll see what happens at the top at this B boundary. See if we're able to break through these levels and continue pushing. Okay, and then on our 1, right, on a 1 hour, if you're tracking this on the 1, we've already hit our 618 retracement level, but could take that A out. So we'll flip this fib and run it to the upside. Right, so almost at the D extension here, looking for price to continue pushing to the upside. Okay, so that's that, slowly taking its time, but it is getting there nonetheless. Okay, questions on the pound CAD?
No, sir.
Deal. All right. All right, cool deal. Pound yen. So bullish on, or I'm sorry, bearish on the yens, right? Another one that I'm sitting and just waiting on. I want to see if price is able to get to this monthly resistance level at 188, 815. That'll get us to the weekly de-extension level, right? And a key resistance level. On the daily time frame, how this comes into play is here, right? That puts us right at that 118 level off of this shallow retracement. Right, so these are all plays that I'm looking at future to see what transpires, to see if we're able to get price to move into those levels, and then give us some opportunity to potentially get short. Okay, so watching closely there. Okay, 1 second. All right, so down to the 4. Here on the 4, that monthly resistance level puts us just shy of the D extension here, right? We wicked out at that 382, so we could potentially get to the D extension there, but that monthly level could come into play, right? And we could see price stall out there, right, from higher time frame levels. So waiting for price to continue push to the upside here, right? That's the 4 coming down to the 1. We got a 1 hour D extension coming in here, right? 382 push, double bottom, and then we took off to the upside, right? I didn't get in this move off that 382, but we're making our way up. So looking for price to continue long here. I'm waiting patiently. Price hasn't come into a zone that I like, so waiting for price to continue to push to the upside there. Okay, so that's the pound yen. Not a ton for me happening right now. And then the pound dollar. We just wicked that 382 level there, pushed into this daily resistance and started breaking down. Right. And so now we're kind of caught in a bit of a range here. right? Waiting to see what happens with the dollar, waiting to see what happens with CPI, see if we get price to turn over and either make a move back to the upside or push down in favor of the dollar, start breaking some of these levels to the downside. Okay. Coming here to the 4 is where you had your 80-20 scenario pushed into that 118 zone. Now we're sitting at that 236 retracement level. Okay. Just sideways right now. Just sideways there. Okay. Coming down to the 1. Here is where things are interesting. Okay. We push down, we touch that daily support level, and then we press sideways. Right. So we got a 8-6 retracement level. Okay. 8-6 retracement level. So we want to see what happens, right? If that CPI comes in soft, right, we could see this turn to the upside. Okay. Could see that turn to the upside. And then we'll see price potentially continue moving along for a little bit. Okay. So that's what I'm looking for. And that's what I'm waiting on this one, is to get some confirmation on the move to the upside if we're going to get it. So if we drop our trend line, then they'll look like that. Okay. That's from a trend line perspective. And then cloud, we're just pushing straight through. All right. Cloud moving straight through price. We're just pressing sideways. So need some confirmation of that move to the upside. So we'll sit and watch and see what happens tomorrow after that data comes out. Okay. All right. Questions on the pound dollar? No?
Nope.
Cool deal. So what I'll do is I'll open it up for you guys. If you guys have any pairs you have your eyes on, drop those into the chat for me and we'll take a look at them. Those are the ones that I'm sitting in right now. I also have that caddy in that I'm sitting in, waiting for price to see if price turns over. And then those zeros I've been in for a while. So Euro USD, let's take a look at it. Still trapped here, right? Trapped in the range, kind of like that pound dollar, pressing sideways, Euro USD. So we'll see what happens. Do we get a push to the upside, right? We got daily, the extension in line with the for 114,978, right? So got to see what happens here. So what's interesting here is a couple things on the weekly time frame. Let me do this. I didn't drop this level in. So we got a weekly resistance here, right? That monthly level at 114 is a D extension on the weekly time frame. We'll see what happens there. Let's drop that down. I'll take a look at that daily again. But do we get back to the top here, right? This is a weekly resistance level. This formed that swing high on that push down. So if we turn over, do we come back and give like a double top scenario at this weekly level, right? Had strong weekly resistant consolidation here, right? And we're retesting that zone here. So if price turns over, do we stall again at that weekly level and then turn back over and push down? That's kind of the question, right? So if the dollar retraces and then picks up some strength from somewhere in the future, right? So coming back to that daily, that's that resistance level there. So we have to break that to get then to the D extension. So we'll watch that closer to see what happens. Now coming to the 4, right? We had a fresh B boundary off that swing high, and that's the push down. So we're sitting at a 382 in line with this daily support level. And we kind of got some confirmation of support here on the 4 hour, right? We weren't able to break this daily support level, pushed up, came back down, and now we're trying to turn back over and get back bullish. So we'll see if we're able to get out of this range and get long, right? Got to break the top of this range though. Okay, so that's kind of where we are. Stuck in the range, turning over at that support level. We'll see what happens when we get back to the top of the range there. Coming down to the one. This is one that I am sitting in long. Off of the 618 retracement in line with that daily support level. Okay, so I'm watching this to see, do we get price to turn over? Okay, that's my idea, is price to get back long here to get to the D extension on the 1 hour. And we'll see if we break that weekly resistance level. Okay, so I'm watching this closely. I like that push to the upside. We got that retracement there. So now I'm looking to see if we're able to get back bullish and start making higher highs and higher lows there. Okay. Questions on the Euro USD?
No, sir.
Wait. All right. Euro NZD. Interesting one. So we got back to this weekly level. We tried to break through it yesterday, couldn't do it. We're trying to break through it again today. We'll see if we're able to close above this level, right? We got a 382 push already, but this zone has been tough, right? The zone has been tough. So we'll see if we're able to break through that and make our way to the next level at 182. Okay. But that's where we're trapped right now. Okay. So got to wait to see what happens there. Coming down to the 4, we got a fresh AB boundary. And we have the 118, 127 zone, right? Up here in this weekly, monthly resistance levels. Okay, so do we continue to push? We're trying to push now. Are we able to break this B boundary and really get long and push into this zone? Okay, we'll see. We'll see. Got a nice rejection off that support level. Let's see if we're able to continue that momentum to the upside there. Here on the 1 hour, we did get this push down just shy of the 618 retracement level on the 1. And now we're making our way back to the upside. So we are making higher lows. All right, we are making higher lows. So we are moving up. So we got to break this resistance level so we can continue pushing to the upside there, right? And really be able to close above this weekly level on the daily time frame to continue that move long. So moving long right now, nonetheless, see if we're able to stay bullish and break this level and continue up. All right, so looking long here overall. Just got some work to do to continue. Okay. Questions? Reese, what you thinking here? No question. Long, gotcha. Okay, good work. Good work. 180.49. Yep, somewhere in that range. Sweet. Great work. Great work. Right. Pushing to the upside there. Cool deal. Looking to see if it continues. Yep. Cool. Benny, you got any pairs you got your eyes on, bro?
Not really this morning for new setups, just pretty much sitting in the same ones um that you talked about, and some of the ones that we posted, in the Discord. Just sitting in those, waiting for those to, continue to make progress, looking for opportunities to add potentially, and then wait and see what happens tomorrow.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Exactly. That's where my eyes are. Um, pull up the Discord and see. You posted that Aussie Swiss. We'll take a look at that one. The Aussie Swiss, we talked about it last night, right? This is the fib that I have running. It's a smaller wave, but price is pushing into this 118. Well, it's pushed into this 118, 127 zone, and we're just sideways, right? So is there a catalyst that turns this over and pushes it long, right? We got an all-time low here at 53,414, right? Do we test that level again, or do we turn over here and push to the upside? So that's what I'm looking to see, is if we get a catalyst to move this back to the upside, so we get back long. Coming to the 4, this is kind of what I had drawn out here on the 4. Right, on the 4 hour, still some work to get into this 118, 127 zone, which would push us a little bit lower. Do we get there, or do we turn over here and just start making our way back to the upside off the B boundary? All right, I'm playing this one more off of that daily time frame, but we do have this B boundary set up here, and we could push down. Could push down into this 118, 127 zone and then turn over. Right, so definitely have that in the back of my mind, as understanding that we could still push a little bit lower first before we move to the upside. So watching that there from that perspective, and then coming down to the 1, we are here. Shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone, and we're trying to break the cloud now, right? Cloud not quite bullish just yet, trying to twist. So we'll see if we get the twist, and we see if we get a bullish push through that cloud, excuse me. Right, so watching to see if we get that action there. Okay, looking for this to continue to the upside potentially. Right, do we get that confirmation of that bullish action and that twist of the cloud? Okay, but that's the Aussie Swiss. Looking for retracement to occur. Questions on the Aussie Swiss?
No, sir.
No, cool deal. Checking on this Euro Aussie. So we're looking at this yesterday, right? And we came to here on the daily. This is where we are. We got to that 382, but we're stalling at this daily, monthly resistance zone here, right? And got a beautiful push long, but now we're stalling a bit. So I want to see what happens and see if we're able to get a retracement and then potentially continue to the upside. So we'll see here. But we're stalling at that daily resistance level there, coming down to the 4. We hit the D extension on the 4, right? On that strong push up. So we started to get a retracement. Now we're pushing back to the upside, retesting this daily level that we broke back below. Okay, so I want to see what happens here if we continue pushing to the upside, or does this level hold as resistance as it has? And then do we turn back over and press back down? Okay, so our new fib on the 4 look like this. Okay, so that's our fresh AB boundary there. It could be this other low. I didn't look at the exact level. Let's see. It'll be one of these candles though, right? Because we got a double bottom here. So, and these are pretty equal. So we'll leave it there, but it could extend here, but it'll still give you the same zones. Okay. So that's the 4. We hit that D extension, looking for a retracement. Coming down to the 1. Here's our 80-20 scenario. Okay. Here's the 80-20 scenario. So we tried breaking through the cloud here, just did, and then we pushed back to the upside. We got a bearish cloud ahead, So maybe this is a pullback for price to continue moving to the downside. It didn't reject off the cloud, which is what that was looking for, right? But we broke through the cloud, pulling back into the cloud, retesting the Tekinson and Kijisen. So let's see if price turns back over now and continues moving to the downside here, right? We got a bullish cloud ahead so far, right? So already a nice move, pullback. Let's see if we continue. Yeah, 382 level there on that sub fib. But that's your Euro Aussie looking at the 80-20 retracement here. Okay. Questions on the Euro Aussie. Looking for that action. All right. And then the Euro Swissy. Another one that I'm sitting in long. Daily time frame. Right. We already got a 382 push here, just shy of that 50% level. Pushed back down to this daily, created a daily support here. We broke below, but now we're trying to push back above. Okay, so I'm watching this to see if we're able to get back long. Okay, see if the Euro's able to pick up some strength and push this long. See if the Swissy backs off a bit, and we get at least a retracement of some sort, right? So that's what I'm looking for, is price to push to the upside here. Coming down to the 4. Here you have your 80-20 scenario. Shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone, price turned over, been chopping sideways, trying to push to the upside now. Right, so see if we're able to push there. 95, 531. Great work, Joy. 95.
No, my bad. I'm looking at my stop loss. 95,792.
Okay. $792. Oh, 95, 792. Okay. Still great work, right? In it to the upside. Yeah, somewhere in this range. Cool. Great work. All right, so let's see if we're able to continue that move to the upside there on this 80-20, give us at least a retracement back into the sweet spot here, high price, then to potentially get back short. Right, the Euro's been a little iffy, so we'll see if we get something like that to happen. Right, so watching that there, 80-20 on the 4, coming down to the 1. There we go. Larger fib here, but we also have, take the cloud off. We also have 80-20 scenario here. Okay. So some confirmation on the 4-hour and the 1-hour, 80-20 scenario, sideways push. Let's see if we're able to get back to the upside here. Okay. So that's the idea. That's what I'm looking at. I'm just waiting patiently on this one, allowing price to do whatever it wants to do. Okay. So that's the Euro Swissy, patiently waiting for the ride to the upside. Okay. And we originally called this one off of the 15-minute. So take this off. And that was off of the fib to the upside. Right there. Right. So this was the original post here. Right. Price stalling in the zone here. Actually, it might have been a little bit lower than that. That's, which one did you run this off of, Benny? This low? Either way, it sets up nice levels.
I believe, yeah, there you go.
That one.
Yep.
8-6 retracement here. And then we got the push to the upside. We pulled back into the zone, and now we're pushing long. All right. So either way, right, this is our AB boundary here, be it the 618 retracement level, or if you took that off of this low here, right, still in that zone, still in that sweet spot, looking for price to push to the upside. Okay. So now the matching D extension, we got a 8-6 retracement. So the matching D extension is here. Right. So that was to continue moving to the upside. Okay. So we're sitting along there, waiting patiently. Got a nice push this morning, right? We'll look for that to continue along there, right? We got a daily resistance at 96,737, and then we'll see what happens when we get there. Okay. Questions on the Euro Swiss? Okay, cool deal. Let's take a look at S&P 500. Curious on where things stand. So I'm going to take these off and we're going to come back here. Maybe. So we talked about this before. I don't know why it's not loading for me, but anywho, let's see if we can still get, there we go. All right, so daily time frame, we got a weekly D extension just above this monthly resistance. We got a 4-hour D extension just above that monthly resistance. And that monthly resistance is an all-time high, right? So what I'm looking at and seeing if we get it is a push here, right? We didn't initially get that move. We got this retracement that came, right? We're in that 118, 127 zone. But what happens? Do we pull back first, right, to that daily support level and then get back long to those levels? Or do we turn over and push to those levels and then get a retracement, right? So CPI data will give us some insight on this and see where it pushes price. So if that data comes in soft, right, definitely could see investors start pricing in that that pause, right? And could see that stock market push to the upside and then, you know, get antsy. So that these are my two thoughts here, right? From a daily time frame perspective, these extensions still keep us in that 118, 127 zone. The D extension is quite a ways away at 487, but do we retest this level? Does it give us a double top, potentially an all-time high, getting to that weekly D extension? And then do we then see that retracement really start to happen? Okay, so that's a daily look coming down to the 4. Cool. Coming down to the 4. This is what we're looking at on the 4, right? We started to turn over. We created that swing high in this 80-20 zone. The D extension on this 4-hour is there, right? So do we get the pullback? Maybe we don't get a deep retracement here, right? But maybe this is just a shallow retracement and then a push to the upside to get to this zone. That's where my eyes are fixed right now. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at to see if we get that action, that type of action to happen. Okay. It kind of plays into my thoughts on the dollar as well, right? If the dollar starts to pull back, right, see the stock market push to the upside, and vice versa, right? If this continues to the downside, then we could see the dollar continue to rally. Okay, so that's the inverse relationship there. So watching that there to see which one of these plays out. And then coming down to your one. There we go. Similar deal as the 4. Right? We're in that 118, 127 zone. We turned over, right? It was a nice move down, but what happens next is the question. Okay, what happens next is the question. So watching to see if we get, again, that push to the upside, right? And this is where all the confluence is for me. And I'm looking to see if we get there. Okay. That's what I want to see. And then I want to see price turnover and push to the downside. All right. So those are my thoughts on the S&P 500. Questions on that thought process? No? All right. Scared of what, Joy? That recession coming?
Man, I dabbled a little bit. I scalped this and got like about $10. I forgot to look at the pips because I didn't understand the pippage on this. But yeah, I had got out and I was like, okay, that's nice. But it had moved so quick, so I'm scared.
Yeah. Yeah, it does, right? And when I'm trading these, I don't do it now anymore, but when I was trading futures, I'd be down. I would do it on the 15-minute time frame.
I was on the 5.
And I dig that too, right? Just sheerly looking at it from lower time frame levels.
And I waited for the cloud.
Of,
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. You waited for what?
I had waited for that cloud to break. And I mean, it took off as soon as that candle in, I went ahead and closed because it looked like it was ready to go right back where it came from.
Yeah.
And it did.
Wow. Right. So I'm interested to see. Yeah, I feel you on that, right? We'll drop down to the 5 as well. And maybe, well, yeah. We'll take a look at it, Reese. I feel you on that. So we'll see what happens, right? If we get back to that daily support level that's just above that 382, right? Which could make sense. Maybe we hit the 382 on this 15-minute, right? But that D extension is also in line with these other levels, right? So even as you move down through the time frames, this zone becomes more and more interesting, right? Regardless of what happens in the short term, in the long term, my eyes are still sitting here, right? So, but trading these on the lower time frames, right? So you got that move down. So now you run a fib off the high, boom, right? And now you got your 80-20 scenario here. Shallow retracement. We didn't get to that 382. Price pushed down. Created a strong reaction there. That was the bank situation. I don't know what that was last night, but we turned over, right? And so now we're pushing back long. So we'll see what happens and see if we get that move back to the upside. But this is how I'd be trading this on the lower time frames. I'd be looking for price to push long. Stop loss below the low. We already created that swing low there. And I'd be looking for this move here. 2-to-1 scenario, right? So if you drop down to your 5, that was a wicked move there. So on your 5, you got your 618 retracement already. No, you're good. You got your 618 retracement already. We pushed down, but weren't able to break out to the downside here on the 5. Right. So off the B boundary push. So we'll see what transpires to see if we get that move to the upside there. Okay. So that's those are my thoughts. Those are my thoughts. We'll see what happens. Let's take a look at gold. Come back. Boom. So daily time frame, 618 retracement. We pushed up daily resistance. We're pulling back down. Let's see if we come back into this daily support level, right? Let's see what happens, right? Previous resistance, we're retesting that now. Does that hold that support, or do we push down to that daily support level? Okay, that's thought number one when looking at this. What happens next? Okay, coming down to the 4. I believe the fib here is going to come off the high, but we'll run it long to see. Yep. Yeah. All right. So run the fib top to bottom, and then we might even come back bottom to top. Yep. We got that taken out as well. So this is our active fib here. Boom. So now on the 4, kind of same thing. We're in sweet spot here on the 4. Daily support in line with that A boundary. Do we get price to turn over here? That's the question.
When you run
Right.
the flip from the up from the downside right there,
We're on the fib off the high. Yeah.
yeah, it's coming into the extension. So
Makes sense. Right. Still in
And
that
it's sitting
618
at a
zone.
4-hour support line.
Yeah. Yeah. 4-hour support. Sub fib D extension there. Right. Got another support level here on the 4. So this zone still makes sense. Right. So do we see price turnover between today and tomorrow? Right. We could linger through the day, and then we'll see what happens with CPI. See if that flips it. Here's your trend lines there, Reese. Boom. All right, so that's on the 4. Let's drop to the 1. That up fib is no longer valid. Let me double check. Yep. All right. So now we're coming down. There's your fib, your down fib on the 1. So we had that zone. Okay, you had your sub fib D extension on the 4, pushing into a 118, 127 zone off of a shallow retracement here on the 1. Right? Do we push a little bit lower and then turn over? As long as price doesn't take out my A, it has no choice but to go my way. Right? I dig it. I dig it. I dig it. Did it hit the 382, Reese? 1946.67. 1946.55. 62. Kind of sort of got there, but just shy. Just barely. All right, just barely missed it. So we'll see. we'll see that D extension on the 1 hour is still within that AB boundary on the 4, right? This is that zone on the 4. So we'll see how far it pushes down, right? We could potentially get to the D extension still, and stay inside the A boundary on the 4. So definitely use additional confirmation here. Wait for a trend line break or a cloud break. All right. Here. There's a cloud. Right. So let's see what happens here, right? Do we get another push down and then do we turn over? Right. I'm down to 15 on it. Similar look. So on your 15, maybe this hones us in a little bit. There's your 118, 127 zone. A daily D extension, I mean, that D extension is in the same line as the 1. So it'll be interesting to see here. All right. Do we get another push to the downside, get to some of those 4-hour levels, and then do we turn over? Okay. So that's gold. Any other questions on this one? I say be patient and wait to see what happens after CPI. That's my thought on it, right? That CPI data and how investors take it could turn the tide here. Let's look at oil. Ooh, it's breaking that level. I was looking for a low price. Ouch. And so here we are, right? Daily time frame, triple bottom here, just shy of monthly support. It's a daily support level. Boom, been long. Jory's been on it for a minute. All right. Off the sub fib 618 retracement. Beautiful move up. So now, are we able to close above this daily resistance level? We're trying to break the downtrend line as well. Are we able to close bullish above 628? Man, great work, Joy. Joy's entry was around this zone here. Beautiful. Beautiful work. All right. So yeah, drop some 7s in the chat for Joy. Great work. That's an amazing move. But right, triple bottom, B boundary, and then you got sub fib 618 retracement. It's all in line. It's all in line. So that's the daily look down to the 4. Are there fibs running off the top? Let's see. Yeah. So here on the 4, we had an 80-20 shallow retracement into the 118, 127 zone, push deeper into the zone. There's your double bottom that we identified, and then we had a triple bottom. Boom. All in the zone, and then the push. All right. So I was hoping for a retracement and a low price. We're hitting the D extension on the sub fib now. All right, let's see what happens. I'd really like a low price to be able to get long, but I may not get it. Yeah, Reese. So let's see if we get a pullback, but this could continue running. This definitely could continue running. Okay, so coming back to that 1 hour. Get rid of these. So here we are on the 1. All right, we're breaking that trend line, pushing long. We got to the 382 level here. and it's up. Right. So here, man, if we're able to close above this level on the daily time frame, look for this D extension to get hit, and then I'd be looking for a new fib on the 1 hour with a pullback to this daily support level. And then I'm looking long, right? I'm patiently waiting. I don't trade oil a lot.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
Isn't it, I was looking at a video a while back and I can't find it right now, but what is it, Wisconsin tool instrument? Well, not Wisconsin. Is that a dang on calculator? It's whatever this
WTI?
report is called. And I guess it has the oil contracts or something on it or something.
Mm-hmm.
What's the name? Been trying to figure out what the name was.
What does WTI stand for? Western Texas something?
Oh, I can give anything a name, can I? What did I call it?
Western Tool Instrument. What is the actual name of it? It's West Texas Intermediate. That's what WTI stands for. Yeah, but that's basically the crude oil contracts. They got that, and then they have Brent crude, which is another contract. What were we gonna say though?
Oh, nothing. I just forgot the name of it.
Oh, gotcha.
Trying to figure out how I can utilize that with the tech, use it as a fundamental along with the technicals.
Yeah. So on the oil piece, right? You're looking at Canadian dollar and what happens there. It also China impacts oil as one of the largest users, but then looking at recession fears, right, and how investors feel, that also can impact oil as well. And then the other piece you got to add into this conversation as things shift is your Russia, Saudi Arabia group, BRICS, right? And as they change how they how they're buying oil, right? And start decreasing their production, that could also make oil skyrocket, which is part of the conversation from investors, is looking at that production continuing to decrease. We could definitely see oil back at $100, right, and above. So that's long term what I'm looking at, as those BRICS nations continue to make their changes and do what they're trying to do, see if it happens. But ultimately, I think that it will impact oil, and we could see that really push this to the upside. So I was on the weekly time frame. I think we had so on the weekly, getting some of this up here, but on a weekly, we've been sitting in this 118, 127 zone forever. Right. So from a weekly time frame perspective, this shift makes sense. Right. There's an 80-20 scenario. It just took its time down here. That's it. But once we got the push, we got the push. And this is a strong impulsive move to the upside. So with us breaking this level, if we're able to close above this is why I said if we break this, I'm looking for a retest and continuation, because we're also breaking this downtrend line. Right? Actually, a trend line will come here. And the trend line is broken already. There's your break of the trend line there out of the consolidation. So we break above this level, daily, weekly time frame. I don't think we see it come back. So looking at this 93 level, 104 level, and then potentially getting back to these 120s, maybe even higher. Right? So that's what I'm looking at on oil long term, is this to start breaking these levels and continue moving to the upside. So especially if we close bullish above this $83 level. Especially if we close bullish above that. So I got my eyes on that. I was hoping I got a low price so that I could enter this long and be on that side with joy, raking it in. So that's what I was hoping for, but I didn't get on the lower time frames. I see 105. Yeah, I see 105 for sure. So, but I see this continue to push long. Definitely see it continue to push long. So I'm watching it closely for this reason here on the weekly time frame. This is a beautiful swing. We close above this. So I don't think we come back. I don't. So oil long, just looking for a low price to get in. Just looking for a low price to get in. Questions on oil, questions on the thought process, questions on anything that we covered this morning.
I am looking for price to come back to 77.10
77
on the 4 hour. And I have had that in a while, so I see it's another fit. So I think I moved it.
Let's see. On the 4.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Oh, good. Let's see. Hit that D extension. We get this new AB boundary to come in. If it forms there, could see it ride, but hypothetically speaking. So that 77.10 level comes in at 618 zone. I see that. Previous resistance here we haven't retested yet. Look, say some prayers for me, because if we get a low price, I'm looking to get long. So that's what I need. That's what I need. If we get that move down, I'd be happy so that I can have an entry opportunity on this. All right. That's what I'm waiting on. I was hoping this 80-20 gave us that move down, but it didn't. It didn't. So yeah, I follow you on that. $77 look. Excuse me. All right. Cool deal. Anything else before we wrap it up for the day? No?
Nope, some good setups.
Yeah, it is. It is. And we got some that are still running. You know what I mean? So I think tomorrow will give us some good insight and potentially push price on some of these other pairs that are just lingering into some zones for us. Right. So continue to be patient. Continue to be patient. Continue to be diligent. Right. And wait for price to move into your zone. Okay. So we'll be back at it tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with my awesome partner, Mr. Benny Allen, for the Asian session. We will see you then. Have an awesome day. Peace.